I'm writing this because I need someone to know what really happened in the Pine Barrens 3 months ago. My hands are still shaking as I type this. The doctors say it's trauma, but they don't understand. They weren't there. They didn't see what I saw. My name is John. I'm 25 years old, and I used to work as a wildlife photographer in New Jersey. Used to, I can't go back to those woods now. I can't go back to any woods. It started on October 14th around 9 p.m. I was driving back from a failed photo expedition deep in the Pine Barrens when my truck's engine just died. No warning, no sputtering, just silence. The headlights flickered once and went dark. I was on a dirt road I'd never been on before, surrounded by thick pine trees that seemed to close in around me in the darkness. My phone had no signal. Of course it didn't. I sat there for maybe 10 minutes trying to restart the engine when I heard it. A sound I'll never forget. It wasn't a howl, not like a wolf or a dog. It was deeper, more guttural, almost like someone screaming through a mouthful of gravel. The sound came from somewhere behind my truck, back down the road I just traveled. I grabbed my flashlight from the glove compartment. The beam was weak, but it was something. Through the rear window, I could see nothing but darkness and the skeletal shapes of pine trees. Then the truck rocked. Something had bumped it from behind. My heart was hammering so hard I thought I might pass out. I spun around in my seat, shining the flashlight through the back window. That's when I saw them, 2 eyes, reflecting yellow-green in the light, about 7 feet off the ground. Too high for a deer, too high for any normal animal. The eyes moved. Whatever owned them was circling my truck. I could hear claws scraping against metal, a wet snuffling sound like it was smelling me through the door seals. I held my breath, trying not to move, praying it would lose interest and leave. It didn't leave. Instead, the creature moved to the driver's side window. I pressed myself against the passenger door, keeping the flashlight pointed away so I wouldn't see it clearly, but I saw enough. In the dim, ambient light, I made out a silhouette that was wrong in every way. It was tall, hunched forward, with arms too long for its body. The head was wolf-like but grotesquely elongated, and when it pressed its face against my window, I could see its breath fogging the glass. The smell hit me then, even through the closed truck. Rot and wet fur and something else. Something that smelled like rust, like old coins, like copper. I don't know how long he stayed like that, me frozen in terror and that thing examining in my truck like it was trying to figure out how to open it. It could have been minutes or hours. Time stopped meaning anything. Then suddenly it was gone. I heard something crashing through the underbrush, moving away fast. I waited another 20 minutes before I dared to try the engine again. It started on the first try, as if nothing had ever been wrong. I should have driven straight home. I should have left the Pine Barrens and never looked back. But I'm a photographer. I was a photographer. I thought maybe I'd imagined them. That fear and darkness had played tricks on my mind. So I came back the next day in daylight to the same spot. I wish I hadn't. The dirt road looked different in daylight. Narrower, more overgrown. I found my tire tracks from the night before easily enough, and next to them, I found other tracks. They were massive, bigger than any dog's prints, with 4 distinct toe pads and deep claw marks extending inches beyond the pads. They circled my truck's position, over and over, like whatever made them had been pacing. But that wasn't the worst part. About 50 yards into the woods, following the direction the creature had run, I found a clearing. And in that clearing was a torn backpack, scattered camping equipment, and a sleeping bag shredded into ribbons. There was no body, but the ground was disturbed, with drag marks leading deeper into the forest. I reported it to the police. They searched the area for 2 days and found nothing. No body, no evidence of anyone camping there recently. They suggested the backpack had been there for months, that animals had gotten to it, but I knew better. That sleeping bag had been fresh, the fabric still bright, not faded by weather and time. I tried to move on. I really did. But 3 weeks later, I got a call from a ranger I knew in the area. Another hiker had gone missing, last seen heading into the Pine Barrens near where I'd broken down. They found his car abandoned, the driver's door open, his wallet and phone still inside. I drove out there, even though every instinct told me not to. The ranger, Tom, was an old friend, and he was shaken. There's something wrong out here, John, he told me. I've been working these woods for 15 years, and I've never seen anything like this. We found tracks, big ones, and they're not bear tracks. He showed me photos on his phone. They were the same prints I'd seen, exactly the same. There's more, Tom said quietly. We found something else, but you can't tell anyone about this. He pulled up another photo. It was a trail camera image, taken at night. The timestamp showed it was from 2 nights ago. In the photo, caught in the camera's flash, was a figure. It was standing upright like a man, but its proportions were all wrong. Its head was massive, shaped like a wolf's skull, and its arms hung nearly to its knees. The eyes reflected the camera flash in 2 bright circles of light. What the hell is that? I whispered. I don't know, Tom admitted, but it's been showing up on cameras all over this section of the forest, always at night, always near where people go missing. Something broke in my mind then. This wasn't my imagination. This wasn't a bear or a large dog. This was real, and it was hunting people. We need to do something, I said. Tom shook his head. Like what? Tell my supervisors there's a monster in the woods? They'll think I'm crazy. Hell, I think I'm crazy. But I couldn't let it go. A week later, I gathered everything I could, my cameras with night vision capability, camping gear, and a hunting rifle I'd borrowed from my uncle. I know it sounds insane now. I was going to go into those woods and document this thing, prove it existed, make sure no one else disappeared. I chose a moonless night in November. The weather forecast called for clear skies and temperatures in the low 40s. I set up my camp just before sunset in a small clearing about 2 miles from where I'd broken down. I had 3 cameras positioned around the perimeter, all motion activated with night vision. I had my rifle loaded and within reach. As darkness fell, the forest changed. The normal sounds, birds, insects, small animals moving through underbrush, all stopped. It was like the woods were holding their breath. I sat by my small campfire, trying to look calm while my heart raced. The first camera clicked at 11:47 p.m. Something had triggered the motion sensor on the eastern side of my camp. I grabbed my flashlight and rifle, pointing them toward the sound. Nothing. Just trees and darkness. The second camera clicked at 11:53 p.m. Northern perimeter. Again, I saw nothing when I checked. The third camera at 12:01 a.m. Western side. It was circling me, just like it had circled my truck. I abandoned the fire and climbed into my tent, rifle across my lap. Through the thin nylon walls, I listened. At first, there was nothing. Then I heard it, that same guttural grinding sound I'd heard weeks before, but closer now, much closer. Something brushed against the outside of my tent. I could see the fabric push inward, like a hand, no, not in a hand, pressing against it. The smell filled the tent, overpowering and nauseating. I aimed the rifle at where I thought the creature was, my finger on the trigger, but I didn't fire. Some part of my brain understood that shooting might provoke it, and the tent wouldn't protect me if it decided to attack. The pressure against the tent wall released. I heard movement around the perimeter of my camp, then silence. Minutes passed. I didn't move, didn't breathe more than I had to. Then the screaming started. It wasn't the creature. It was human. A man's voice, somewhere in the woods not far from my camp, screaming in absolute terror. The screams lasted maybe 30 seconds before they cut off abruptly, ending in a wet, choking sound that I hear in my nightmares every single night. I don't remember making the decision to run. I just remember bursting from my tent and sprinting into the darkness, leaving everything behind, cameras, supplies, rifle. I ran blindly through the forest, branches tearing at my face and clothes, until I hit a paved road. I flagged down a car, and the driver, seeing the state I was in, took me straight to the police station. I told them everything. They sent officers into the woods with search teams. They found my campsite torn apart, my equipment destroyed. They found tracks, but they never found the body of whoever had been screaming. And they never found what made those tracks. The official report called it a bear attack, though no bears in New Jersey get that large or make tracks like those. The case was quietly closed. The section of forest where it happened is now restricted, though they claim it's due to trail maintenance. But I know the truth. There's something in the Pine Barrens, something that shouldn't exist but does, something that hunts at night, that's smart enough to circle its prey, patient enough to wait. Something that looks like it stepped out of nightmares but is terrifyingly, impossibly real. I moved out of New Jersey 2 months ago. I'm in Colorado now, as far from those woods as I could manage. But distance doesn't help. Because 3 days ago, I was watching the news and saw a story about hikers going missing in the forest outside Denver. They found one of the victims' tents torn to shreds. And in the photo they showed, clearly visible in the dirt beside the tent, were tracks. Massive tracks with 4 toes and extended claws. It's not isolated to New Jersey. Whatever that thing is, whatever that black creature in the pines was, it's not alone. There are more of them, and they're spreading. I'm writing this as a warning. If you're planning to go camping, especially in remote areas, please reconsider. If you're in the woods at night and you hear something that sounds like screaming through gravel, don't investigate. Run. Get to your car. Get to civilization. Get anywhere there are lights and people. And if you see eyes reflecting in your flashlight beam, eyes that are too high off the ground and shine that yellow-green color, don't wait to see what they belong to. Because I've seen it, and I know what's out there in those dark woods isn't human, isn't natural, and it's hungry. The doctors say I'll recover from the trauma eventually. They say time heals everything, but they're wrong. Because trauma fades when the threat is gone, when you're safe. And I'm not safe. None of us are. That thing from the Pine Barrens, that black werewolf nightmare, it's still out there, still hunting, still waiting for the next person to wander into the wrong part of the woods at the wrong time. I was lucky. I got away. But the man whose screams I heard that night in my camp didn't. And the next person who encounters that creature probably won't either. This is real. This happened. And it's still happening.